Shalom, I'm Rabbi Jonathan Ginsburg of the Ezra Habani Mouse Township Jewish Congregation. This video is about the Shaharit, morning service in Judaism. Now, during the weekday, it takes about half an hour to 45 minutes to do the whole thing, unless you're very picky about the prayers you do. It begins with what's called Birkot HaShachar, morning blessings. We usually have a morning prayer that begins with Modeh Ani, which is thank you, God, for restoring my soul. We sing Matovu, how good it is for all of us to be together. There are morning blessings that are recited thanking God for many things. Some rabbinic passages stressing the good commandments. And these are all preliminary to a section of the service called Pesukei de Zimra, verses of song, mostly consisting of psalms from the Bible. And it's also a warm-up section. Over the course of the centuries, the amount of psalms in that section have increased dramatically. And so some synagogues that do the whole thing take quite a while, 10-15 minutes, to recite all those psalms. In our congregation, for example, we do a couple of the most famous ones. And that all leads to the Shaharit service, which begins on the weekdays with Shochenad, and it goes to the call for prayer, the Borchu. Then there are two paragraphs, two prayers basically, before the Shema block. Now the Shema, and I'll have a separate YouTube on this, is the basic prayer of the service. It has 3 paragraphs in it, and it's buffeted on both sides by other prayers. The first in the morning is a prayer, as it is in the evening also, thinking about God as the God of nature. Following that is a prayer, Ahava Rabbah, where we thank God for giving us the Torah and commandments. Then we have the Shema, which has the Shema sentence plus 3 paragraphs from the Torah. Following that, there is a prayer in the morning called Ga'al Yisroel, thanking God as Redeemer. In the evening, there is another prayer added after that called the Hashkivenu, and I have a separate YouTube video on the evening service. Now this leads then into the second major part of the morning service called the Shemona Esrei, which means the 18, or the Amidah, the standing prayer. And even though it says 18, there's actually 19 prayers. The first 3 and last 3 are the same as they are all services every day, including the Sabbath and holidays. It begins with the Avot, which are a prayer for a memory of our patriarchs and matriarchs. And then Gevurot, thanking God for redeeming us in life, even after we die. Then the Kedusha, the sanctification. At the end, we have Ritzei, Modim, which is the acknowledgement prayer, and a prayer for peace, Sim Shalom. In the middle are 13 petitions asking God for various things, and they're all phrased in the plural. And then the service ends with the Aleinu and the Mourner's Kaddish. Now, in between the various sections, there are various forms of the Kaddish prayer, which begins Yitkadal v'Yitkadal Shemei Rabbah. You can tell it's a small division if it's the half Kaddish, and a really big change in the service if it's a full Kaddish. And also scattered out throughout are the Mourner's Kaddishes, which is actually the full Kaddish minus 1 little paragraph called Tit Kabel. Now in the morning, traditional Jewish men wear phylacteries called tefillin, and some women in the non-Orthodox world are wearing them now. We also wear the prayer talis. I have a video on the prayer shawl, and there are many videos on the internet about the phylacteries or tefillin, so I didn't bother doing one. Now on the Sabbath, that's basically the service. On the Sabbath and on Monday and Thursday morning, we also add a Torah service. After the Amidah, before the Aleinu, we add a service for reading the Torah. On Monday and Thursdays, and on the Saturday afternoon before, we read a little bit of the coming week's portion, and on Saturday we read either the whole thing, or in many conservative synagogues we read a third of the whole thing, as they used to do in Israel about 2,000 years ago. I hope that explains the basics of the Saturday morning and regular weekday morning service. Again, Birkot HaShachar, the preliminary blessings, Pesukei de Zimra, the verses of praise, then the actual Shacharit service, which has the call to prayer, 2 blessings before the Shema with its 3 paragraphs, the blessing after the Shema, the Amidah with the 19 blessings, and then you're basically closing in on the home stretch, the Aleinu and the Mourner's Kaddish. Hope that helps clarify the regular morning service.